Hello everyone and welcome back to Thomas and Friends Home Media Reviews. This is episode 6, I believe, is what we're on right now, and man, I cannot believe that this series has made it to episode 6. I never thought it'd be this popular, actually. It's averaging about, 200 views per episode now, so thank you guys very much for supporting this series, and go ahead and tell your friends about this series who are interested in Thomas and Friends Home Media, because I personally love doing it. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about here. This isn't a thank you video. I just wanted to address that because you guys are my fans and I love you. But what are we looking at this time? Well, we are rounding out our coverage of the Ringo Starr US VHS releases with Better Late Than Never and Other Stories. This is kind of a sad time, guys, because after this, Ringo Starr, he's kind of out the window, guys. The only other times we'll see him is in the early years box set and in some later James Learns a Lesson releases. After this, Ringo he's kind of forgotten, but he's on the early years, so anyway, let's stop my rambling and let's get into the history of Better Late Than Never on VHS. So the history of Better Late Than Never and other stories on VHS, again, is very, very brief. This release was first released in 1991 by Strand VCI, just like Thomas Breaks the Rules, and then re-released by Strand Home Video in 1993. This was never given a Strand VCI release. So if I say that in the close-up, I just want y'all to know this did not get a Strand VCI release. That was actually a goof in the spine. Yeah, Better Late Than Never had a really short lifespan, but let's move into the close-up of my copy of Better Late Than Never on VHS. Alrighty everyone, here's your close-up view of Better Late Than Never on VHS. Just like the last two episodes, only one copy to show off. This is the Strand VCR 1993, otherwise known as Strand Home Video 1993, re-release of Better Late Than Never. Now this version of Better Late Than Never actually holds a nostalgic place in my heart, but we will get to that in a minute. Let's just look at the casing here. So it's a similar style to the other 1993 and 1994 reprints. As you can see, it's purple, so it's pretty bright. And for some reason, you have duck on the front. Really don't know why they put duck on the front of the case here. Actually, in the 1991 original print, it was Thomas. So this is a complete change. Maybe it's because duck was featured primarily in most of these episodes that are on this tape. On the side, as usual, there's that Thomas that we all know and love. We go down the spine here, Better Late Than Never, Strand VCI. On the back, you've got your Strand VCI copyright information, a great picture from Better Late Than Never, your paragraph about what's on the tape, almost said film, and your story stops, and also the other volumes that were available at the time. We take the tape out. As you can see, it's a Strand Home Video reprint. As you can tell, because the Strand Home Video is not completely black, it's red with black on it. So, and this does have the Strand Home Video logo at the beginning and the end. So this was a pretty late print, actually. Now, the reason this holds such a soft spot of nostalgia in my heart is because when I was a wee young lad, I'm actually not that old right now, but when I was young, we still had Blockbusters around in my area. With Blockbuster, when I was young, they had Thomas VHS tapes there. I think I only saw them twice, and the only one I ever rented was this one, and it was this exact same print. This better late than never. I remember walking in and seeing Duck on the cover, and I was just like, holy crap, that's a Thomas tape I don't own. I've got to see it. And obviously they didn't have the tape inside of the jacket. They had like little like styrofoam inserts placed in there, so you had to actually like bring the jacket to the front counter so you couldn't like steal it, which was a smart idea. And the tape came in one of those hardback cases that had, Blockbuster's name on the front of it. You open it up, you got the tape inside. The other VHS tapes that I saw there was they had the reprint of James Learns a Lesson jacket on one of the shelves there, but I didn't see any others. But I only rented this once, and to be honest, I was actually kind of pissed off when I rented this because the story contents that they put on there were, obviously, better late than never. The entire Pop Goes the Diesel arc, the Gordon Takes a Dip double thing, and then the Runaway, which is kind of a weird one on there because it really has no correlation with any of these other stories. But neither does Better Late Than Never. So, the reason I was kind of pissed off about this is because, as we'll see in future releases, most of those stories are already on Thomas Comes to Breakfast, which at this time, this was the first time they were ever released. But later, in the later 90s, Thomas Comes to Breakfast came out, and it featured the George Carlin narration of the Pop Goes the Diesel arc and Gordon Takes a Dip. Down the Mine wasn't on Thomas Breaks the Rules. It was actually on Thomas and His Friends Help Out. But Better Late Than Never and The Runaway I had never seen because I didn't own Thomas's Friends Get Along when I was a kid. I owned Thomas Comes to Breakfast and Thomas's Friends Help Out. So I had already seen those stories, but with a different narration. So it kind of pissed me off when I popped this in the player and I watched Better Late Than Never, and then Pop Goes the Diesel comes on screen, and I'm like, this is the exact same story, just with a different narrator. What the heck, I've been cheated. I never rented this again because of the fact that I knew what contents were on the tape, and I didn't want to just have two stories that I didn't already own. So yeah, that's a little trip down nostalgic road for me, and that's why this is one of my favorite VHS tapes to date. That's your close-up view for the 1993-1994 reprint of Better Late Than Never, and a bit of a nostalgic journey into Lego Lover's heart. Let's head back, and we will answer the 5 main questions as always. Actually, I lied to you guys. There's one more thing that we need to look at. I actually do own Better Late Than Never on a separate release because of the fact that, well, I have this bootleg version, Better Late Than Tricked, that I burned a while back, and, it's not a legit home video release, but I thought it was a nice honorable mention because, it's the first time it's ever been put onto DVD. Not officially, but still, it's an honorable mention, and I like it.
Alright guys, so we're back from the close-up, and now it's time to answer the 5 main questions, as always. Number 1. Where can you pick this product up? Well, eBay or a local hobby store, which has kind of been the same thing for these past few episodes here on Home Media Reviews. Number 2. Is this product still being printed nowadays? No, it does not, unless you count my bootleg version. Number 3. Should you pick this product up? This is kind of hard for me to judge because this tape is very, very nostalgic for me, but I'd go ahead and say, if you want those original narrations, then yeah, go ahead and get it. But if you already own Thomas Comes to Breakfast, Thomas's Friends Get Along, and Thomas's Friends Help Out, you don't need this. Number 4, where should you pick this product up? eBay or a local hobby store, as usual. And number 5, what price should you pay? Just like with last episode, definitely don't want to go over $10 for this. It's really not worth it. So anyways, guys, that rounds out our coverage of Ringo Starr on VHS. But don't worry, We still have a lot more VHS Thomas to cover before we can ever dream of getting to DVDs. Trust me, there's a long road of VHS history to get through before we can even think about stuff like that. But anyway, next episode, we will see the first George Carlin US release of Thomas and Friends. What is that? Well, it's Trust Thomas on VHS. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and as always, good night everybody, and I'll see you next time.